Bit closer to the sun,
Yes.
don't we?
Good idea.
Oh, yes, because 10 days after India's success in landing the first ever spacecraft on the southern pole of the moon, I think it was the southern pole, the country's now launched Aditya L1, its first mission to study the sun.
And there it went just a while ago. It was launched on the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle rocket. That's snappy. From the eastern coast of India early this morning.
Well, India's space agency wants to use it to monitor the sun's activities. It's going to take about 4 months to get into a halo orbit around the sun. It's looking at things like, effectively, those sort of solar winds and things which cause the aurora borealis.
Yes. Well, we could do with understanding the sun a bit better.
Yes, we could.
Because it's so important. Joining us now, space adventurer Per Wimmer. It's lovely to see you. Hi. Did you find the launch? Did you watch the launch?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was really
beautiful
exciting,
launch. I mean, you never get tired of rocket launches. No, I love it.
It was almost like an old-fashioned Apollo launch.
Yeah, it was.
You know, big rocket and it lit up the night sky.
Brought a bit of history back in. Absolutely. No, it's gorgeous when these things go up.
So what's it going to be studying?
So the main, you said, why go there in the first place?
Yeah.
You know, why figure out? The sun is very important because, for a number of reasons, the weather around the sun obviously affects the other planets, including planet Earth. And we're talking about climate change and all these sorts of things. There's things we can do as humans, but there's also what does the sun do? You know, you can't really control that. So that's one thing. And the second thing is the sun has, from time to time, because of these hot gases that are there and electrons that are running around, that creates magnetic fields. That holds down some of the gases, and sometimes those gases want to come out, like a volcano, boom, like that. That's called solar flares. And then you've got solar winds, which are basically plasma that sort of pops out, if you like, as well. Now, this thing sends X-rays, ultralight down to Earth, and sometimes also gamma rays, which, if you were placed out in orbit as an astronaut, actually is quite dangerous, you know, to humans. Fortunately, for planet Earth, we are surrounded by the atmosphere and the ozone layer, etc. So we are protected. So as such, these solar winds and flares are not dangerous. They're just beautiful auroras borealis when we look at them. But out, if you were, if you're flying, and certainly if you're an astronaut, they can be. Where the most dangerous impact is, though, is on electronic equipment, satellites and communications and stuff, because it can really mess things up when you get a big burst of these things.
Which could cripple the globe nowadays, where we're so reliant on these things now. Absolutely.
There was a big one in 1859, a long time ago, that actually knocked out some communications equipment. And in 1989, Quebec experienced a power outage because of a solar storm that happened. So these things are real. Fortunately, they don't happen so often. There is an interesting time in 2025 where we likely to get solar max, potentially. So that's a good time to maybe come back and see what's happening in that year. So it's something that really can affect satellites and also the lifespan of satellites, because you can knock them out effectively if they're not well protected.
We said that it's going to reach a halo orbit around the sun.
Yeah.
What's a halo orbit?
Yeah, so in terms of... so there was an Italian-French scientist called Lagrange, and he sort of very famously calculated that there are 5 spots where the gravitational pulls between the Earth and the Sun are such that if you put the satellite right there and it sits in a stable, hovering place, that's where you want to put it.
It's like a halo above your head.
So you can put them there. For instance, the James Webb Telescope sits at L2. This one is going to go to L1 because which is about 1.5 million kilometers out from planet Earth, which is only 1% on the way to the sun. So it's actually a lot closer to the Earth, even though it sounds like it's far away.
Oh, I wish we had a lot longer. Sadly, we don't.
Couple of
it's
hours.
Always fascinating. We need a couple of hours with you, Per, as always. Really good to see you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Should we find out